Hello, fellow Rebel Capitalists. Hope you're well. And if you own gold, you're doing very, very well right now. Let me tell you why. Some congressmen have just introduced a bill to reinstate the gold standard right here in the United States. Let's go right over to an article from Yahoo. And let's check this out. Then we're going to do the math on how much gold would be worth per ounce. So let's get right into it. 3 congressmen introduced gold standard bill to stabilize the dollar's value. Yeah, that would stabilize the dollar's value, and that would make the price of gold go to over $350,000 per ounce. I had to just look at the number here on the whiteboard. And again, we're going to do the math here for you in just a moment. As America faces twin threats of inflation, bank failures, 3 U.S. congressmen introduced a pivotal sound money bill that would enable the Federal Reserve note dollar to regain stable footing for the first time more than half a century. Their words, not mine. And I think the idea behind this bill is fantastic. I don't think these guys know anything about the monetary system. In fact, I know they don't because I read their statements and they're pretty clueless. But, on net balance, I think this is a good thing. It definitely gets people talking about it. So this is the Gold Standard Restoration Act. And they are trying to facilitate the repegging of the volatile Federal Reserve note, i.e. dollar, to a fixed weight of gold bullion. And I mean, it's pretty straightforward, basically just taking the United States back to the gold standard. They say monetary experts have noted a return to the gold standard would substantially curtail the economic damage caused by inflation, runaway federal debt, and monetary system instability. So, again, I don't want to get into the weeds here. There's some points where I definitely disagree with these guys. I don't think they really understand how money is created. But again, I give them a thumbs up, A for effort, and at least this is getting people talking about what people should be talking about. That's understanding money better, or currency, money, whatever you want to say. So a gold standard would protect Washington, or protect against Washington's irresponsibility. See, this is where I disagree, because at the end of the day, if the people vote for higher taxes, we're going to get more government, regardless of whether you're on a Bitcoin standard, gold standard, etc. You say, well, George, they can't print money. They can't print money. Yeah, I would agree. But what's your definition of big government? Because right now, the government is taxing, call it 30% of GDP. That's what they get in taxes. So usually it's about 18% of GDP, but that's federal taxes. When you include state and local, you're very close, if not north of 30%. So that's with no money printing whatsoever. That's just what people have voted for, believe it or not. So anyway, I don't want to go off on a tangent. Let's focus on the topic at hand. Prices would be shaped by economics rather than instincts of bureaucrats. So here is where I give the guys thumbs up. This is a direct quote from actual politicians in the United States in 2023. So this is, at least they're talking about it. That's fantastic. No longer would American families, businesses, and the economy as a whole be at the mercy of the Federal Reserve and reckless Washington spenders. So they point out how the gold standard was suspended back in 1971. We all know the story. So let's get into the actual math so you can see how, I mean, if this bill passes, I can't imagine that it would, but if it does, how gold could literally, and I'm not even talking about in nominal terms, I mean, just right away, so almost in real terms, go to over $350,000 an ounce. Let's go right over to my email, and we've got the whiteboard. And Josh went up there and just did some quick math for the sake of this video. And for some reason, I can't see gold, but you guys can see it there right at the top. So we've got, I don't know why it says open with. We're going to have to make it a little smaller. There we go. Okay, so this first number is the amount of or the number of ounces of gold that the United States admits to or claims to have. So according to Josh, this is roughly 282 million ounces of gold. Okay, well, let's just think about how many dollars are in the world. Because remember, if you got a gold standard where now people, not just in the United States, but anywhere in the world, can go ahead and transfer their dollars right back into the U.S. and say, yeah, Federal Reserve, here's your dollars. Go ahead and give me my gold. So this amount of gold that we have in the United States would have to back up all the dollars that are on the balance sheets or the aggregate balance sheet of the entire globe. And you guys know, especially from watching my more recent videos, that number is north of 100 trillion. 100 trillion with a T. So if you take 100 trillion and you divide by the number of ounces, then the price of gold, in order to have the gold back 100% of the dollar, now you could have like a 40% backing or a 50%, but if you wanted to have 100% backing for every dollar out there based on the amount of gold that we have in the United States, the price of gold per ounce would have to be $354,369.03. There you go. So I'm not saying that there's a high probability that this bill passes. I don't think the guys understand the monetary system at all, but I do applaud them for at least talking about this stuff and talking about the damages and the distortions that this government spending creates, and at least trying to figure out a way to rein in that spending and create a better economic environment and standard of living for the average Joe and Jane right here in the United States. So we'll have to follow this story very, very closely and see if it gets any traction as far as this bill. And if it does get more details as to, what percent backing they would have, and then we can continue to do this math to try to figure out what the price of gold would be if this bill actually turns into law. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. As always, make sure that you're standing up for freedom, liberty, free market capitalism. We'll see you in the next video.